All right, we're back with more discussion, and in this segment, we'll be taking a look at the season roundup and betting tips for the weekend. It has been a year of underdogs where we've had teams like Girona, Leverkusen, and many teams,
Bologna,
perform. Who did you call now?
Bologna.
Okay.
Yes,
I thought
getting to the
I
Champions
thought you
League.
mentioned a certain club.
9 years.
We've had many clubs basically push above their weight this season,
Brest,
and one
yeah.
of the most exciting ones comes in France, where Brest, I mean no disrespect to Brest fans, but where Brest will they look likely to be playing in next season's
Champions League, yeah.
and it is a very, very massive underdog story, if you like to call it. In fact, for those who don't know, if Brest do qualify for the Champions League, they would have to probably play their home games somewhere else. This is because their current stadium, Francis Lebler, is not even quality enough to pass the UEFA standards, floodlight issues, and many things. Just 15k capacity. So let's assume they do make it to the Champions League. Cerebrone, as a League One, as a devoted League One guy, you followed Brest closely and you've seen one or two about them. What do you think we can expect from them in next season's Champions League? Considering that it will be taking a new Swiss format.
Yeah, I think that's the
What do
reason
you
why
think-
it's
what do you think
very
we can
hard
to
to
predict?
predict because
Yeah.
if it was the old format, I know that they're probably going to end up in pot four and in a group with very, very difficult teams and probably end up in the Europa League, which for me was always the problem with underdogs making it to the Champions League in Ligue 1 because the coefficient requires the big teams to make it so that they can do well and get higher placements. But with the new format, with the whole straight league table and all that, it's very hard to predict. But the good thing for them is that there are other teams that are coming to the Champions League unexpectedly as well.
Yeah.
From Aston Villa to Bologna to Girona. Of course, those teams, I think the likes of Girona will be able to keep their players and possibly strengthen.
Yeah.
But teams like Brest may not be able to keep their best players. The good news for them, though, is that we have not really heard a lot of noise about players being chased from their teams compared to like previous teams that have come out like that.
Yeah.
Once they are making waves, you start hearing rumors,
Yeah,
Fabrizio is
their best
tweeting
player.
and stuff. But now, I've not really heard many rumors about Brest players, so
It seems like
it
they
looks
would
like they
likely
will
keep
keep their core. And if they keep their core, trust me, they're a very exciting team. Very, very exciting team. So I feel if they keep their core, they will do well, but I'm not sure they'll be able to make it to the next stage, unfortunately, because I think it's going to be very difficult. This format, I mean, we'll get to see it anyway.
Newcastle kept their core and
Well,
nothing
we'll see how
To be
that.
fair, they were very unlucky with the penalty call in
Yeah.
Paris. If they had gotten, if
But
that
I just talked about PSG being unlucky.
that was
no, that was
About-
ref error, not
No,
firing
apart
shots
from-
against the
so
post.
These are things that happen. That's what I'm saying.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
We'll
but
talk,
that was
we'll talk
a
about
wrong
Newcastle.
call.
We'll talk about Newcastle some other time. But let's move on and let's bring it closer to home right now. This is the Betting Expert Nigeria podcast. So it would be wrong if we don't talk about Nigerian football at some point. So let's come closer to home. And Duchess, this is for you as someone who is closely into the Nigerian landscape of things and on the football scene. I dare say that the NPFL has a more exciting title race
Yes.
than the Premier
Than the
League.
Premier League.
Yes.
I dare say so. I mean, Premier League,
Allow
toughest
it.
league in the
Premier
world.
League, are toughest league in the world. Call it
Yes.
anything you want to call it. In fact, with 6 games to go, only 5 points separates Enugu Rangers from 5th place Lobby Stars. Meaning 5 teams
and still win the
can
title.
still realistically
Where
and mathematically win the league.
Where else will you see
Very-
this kind of thing?
I don't think you can say this anywhere else in the world. It is very difficult, but at the moment, Enugu Rangers look like the team to go on. In quote, look like the team to go on and do it. Do you think they can keep up the current momentum as it stands?
Yes, Rangers International. I think this is one of the best seasons they are having. With
Yeah.
their new coach, Fidelis Ibechuku, who left Plateau United and now come then to join them. And it's been a fantastic season for that's Rangers International. They have the best points away from home. They had on a long run 8 games unbeaten, home and away, and that was something that took them to this level. It's just sad that we have this break because the momentum might drop. That's the problem. Because now Remo Stars has played their the game that he had in hand against Rivers United, and they won and they defeated Rivers United. The first time they were doing that in the league. Now with 56 points, Rangers International with 7 points, just 1 point separating both. And that tells you how difficult it could be. The next in line has to be Eyimba International. Eyimba has 53 points.
Yeah.
Then you have Shooting Stars with 52 points. You also have Lobby Stars with 52 points. Even Plateau United has 50 points. So it tells you how dicey it is for the MPFL season to be. So it can go either ways. But I think Rangers stand a chance because they have a manager that understands the league.
Yeah.
And then the title for me will be really decided when they face the Yimba.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at home. So the cathedral will be boiling because these are two.
That's why the MPFL is the best league in the world.
It's the best league.
1000%.
You didn't hear it
In the
from
Prem-
me.
no,
You didn't
in-
hear it
in
from me.
In the
bro.
Premier League, you are just having a 2-horse race. We are having
Man
Because
horse race.
if we're saying the best league in the world is the league that produces the highest form of competition
it's
for
the
the title,
MPFL.
then
No, you just
So
talked about
Cerebrone said it. I didn't say it. MPFL is the best league in the world. You can quote
yes,
him.
I said it with my
You can
chest.
drop
No,
your
you-
comment and respond to
I
him.
said it with my chest.
About what you
He's
think
right.
about that.
He's correct
And
about it.
just on a brief note, Duchess, like the MPFL has seen a lot of interesting results this time around. I remember once upon a time it was very difficult for away sides to even take a point. But this time we've seen results where the better team just wins the game. But from a betting perspective, what do you think, based on how results have been over the season, what do you think has been the most exciting market to bet on? Based on the scorelines, maybe both teams to score over market. What do you think has been the most exciting betting market?
One of the exciting betting market has to be with sticking with the big guns in the league. They have been the ones that have been able to get results that will
So basically,
yes,
straight wins.
yes, mostly straight win for the big guns because we've seen them go to even away and they get this results. Teams like Rangers, even Eyimba gets points away from Remo Stars to be able to do that, going to Bayelsa, defeating Bayelsa United at their home ground, and that should be an interesting factor for you. And then the teams that are struggling from relegation,
Yeah.
it's difficult to play them except you're playing like Heartland. Although they are not trying to pick up form as gradually, but it's not like normal. Sunshine Stars, it's difficult for Sunshine Stars to get point, but they defeated Rivers United. That was yesterday. That's an outstanding game. So I feel for you to, for a tip for you, stick on the big guns. It will give you the results, and then if you are not so sure, even a draw could go when you are still sticking with the big guns away from home.
All right, so some expert insight from the Duchess of Sports on the MPFL. Stick with the big guns or play out for a draw. I'll be testing that one out in the remaining 6 games, and we'll see how that plays out. So let's go to the main business of the day, where all three of us, as is the usual culture, we will be giving you our best betting tips from all of the action in midweek. There are still a lot of exciting games to go in midweek, including a big title deciding game, maybe. Tottenham taking on City at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Brighton and Chelsea will also play Manchester United and Newcastle, and a host of other games as well. So in no order at all, Cerebrone, we're starting with you, and I would like us to give us your best betting tips and predictions for the midweek action.
All right, so forget about what happened last weekend. It was a blip.
It's a new week.
Forget what happened last weekend. It was a blip. It's not my real face. But yeah, so for this midweek, I'm going with over 10.5 corners in the Tottenham versus Man City game. And the reason is that I think there will be a lot of goal-mouth action. And that means that we'll have a lot of corners. I think that probably with the way things have been between Tottenham and Man City, Man City are going to push hard, going to have to push hard. Maybe if Tottenham get a goal, or even if they don't get a goal, because of the goal difference thing that Man City are trying to cover, they will go all out against Spurs, and we're going to see a lot of corners. So over 10.5 corners at 1.7 odds on Betano. Also, Brighton versus Chelsea. Chelsea has shown that they like to score goals, and they also like to concede goals. So definitely this looks like a game between two teams that like to be open, that like to play, that like to go at the other team. And we're going to see, in my opinion, 3 goals, at least 3 goals. And at 1.42 on Betano, that is a good bet to go with. Then, Manchester United versus Newcastle. It's a straight shootout for Europe. And Manchester United, we know they're not that good. And right now, Newcastle, we expected them to do better this weekend, and they didn't. So I think that it's going to be a tricky game. I don't want to go for goals now. I'm not doing goal betting for this one because, as we saw, I went go for Arsenal versus Man U, and we saw only one goal, and it was boring. So over 5.5 corners for Manchester United.
Are you sure they will play 5.5 corners when rain might fall?
No, I think they will do it.
Newcastle.
Is that Newcastle?
No, it's
Yeah,
home.
United.
It's home.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The stadium will leak again.
Yeah, it will leak, but that's the good thing. So it will be sleeping, and when they shoot,
Okay, to
so
go to the corner
just
line.
go to corner, exactly.
That
So
actually makes sense.
because you saw what happened in Garnacho, ball kept going out for a corner.
Maybe that's
So-
why Wan-Bissaka kept on falling.
Exactly, you get
That
it.
makes sense.
And then that one is at 1.83 odds. I think it's a very, very good
Yeah.
thing to go with. And then also Real Madrid versus Alaves at home. Madrid will play their worst possible team, and they will win that game 4-0. So bet over 2.5 at 1.62 on Betano. And the final pick for me is Girona versus Villarreal. Two very exciting teams that like to attack, like to score, like to go at the other team. We have Solot, who is fighting for the Golden Boot, as well as Dovik. So I think we're going to have many goals. Over 2.5 also at 1.38 on Betano. So that all of that adds up to 9.87 odds, which is very, very nice. You can put a little 1,000 naira that you don't really need on it and see if you can make 10,000 naira. Yeah. There you go.
All right, over to you, the Duchess, and share us your best tips for the midweek's action.
So for my tips for the midweek, I'll be sticking with very few games because I want to play safe. I've just noticed that too many ingredients spoils the soup. So I'll start with the Premier League, where I have Brighton versus Chelsea. These two teams know how to score against each other. They've scored away at home and both at home, both sides, since all of this season, apart from 2020 season and 2021. So you want to stick on a go for both of these teams. The next game has to be Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City. Tottenham has scored in all of their home games this season, so which gives you an assurance going into the season, to this game, that Tottenham is going to score. City are not shy in front of goals, so City definitely will score. So that should give you a chance to bet on this game. Next, in Spain, Girona versus Villarreal. Girona knows how to score. They've scored in their last 6 games. They've scored at home, away from home. Villarreal themselves, in the last 9 games, they've been scoring. So I don't think they're going to break that jinx this time. So we have to still look out for that game. In France, Nice and PSG. PSG might be struggling, but I think they want to show something to the fans. So I feel they can score. They might not win, but PSG will score, and Nice too will score. Nice is fighting for a Champions League position, or a place at Europe. So I feel Nice is going to score too for that game. The last but not the least is Fiorentina versus Napoli. A tricky tie. For Napoli, yes, you can say Napoli has been a fall off. It's like a pack of badly arranged cards. Losing at home, away from home. No, at home, right?
At home, yeah.
To Bologna. Yes, they lost at home to Bologna. 2 goals to nothing. So I think they'll be able to score against Fiorentina. So you're going for a goal. Fiorentina in their last 8 games have scored. You look at Napoli, not like that, but I think Victor Osimhen will score that.
All right, those were some pretty amazing tips as well, and I'll be wrapping up this segment. For this segment, moving forward, you can call me MBB, and if you don't know what that means Mr. Bet Builder. So let's move on. From last week, I put some players to score in the Bet Builder, and it makes it more difficult when you narrow down a specific player to score, because once the player doesn't score, you ruin the bet.
Haaland did not score. So this time around, I'm avoiding any player to score, and I am going based on outcomes I feel will happen in the game strictly. So my first pick is also Brighton versus Chelsea, and I'm saying Brighton under 2.5 goals, meaning Brighton will not score 3 goals against this Chelsea side. They
might
Fantastic
score one, they might
Chelsea
score
defense.
2, but they won't score 3. I think there will be over 2.5 goals in total, judging from the fact that I think both teams will score, but one team will outscore the other. So there will be over 2.5 goals in total. Chelsea win or draw. I don't think Chelsea will lose based on their current momentum. And Chelsea over 4.5 corners, meaning Chelsea will play at least 5 corners. And you can get that for 3.65 odds. My second and final bet builder is over to Spain, the reigning champions, taking on Alaves. Just like Cerebrone said, even if these guys play street boys, I don't see how they won't win that game. Mind you, Alaves, they've been on they're on good form at the moment, but I just think that Madrid spirit will just be too much for them to handle. So I think Real Madrid will win and under 5.5 goals, meaning there won't be 6 goals scored in that game. Alaves under 1.5 goals. I don't see Alaves scoring 2 goals at the Bernabeu. Over 9.5 corners in total and over 2.5 corners in total. You can get that for 3.85 odds. And those are my bet builder tips for the midweek's action. As all of us have predicted, all our tips, you can use the Betano code that you can see on your screen if you would like to go with any of the tips, either from myself, the Duchess of Sports, and Cerebrone. And there's also a promo code from Betano, our trusted bookmaker here on the Betting Expert Nigeria podcast that you can take advantage of. Kolade Bet, and very soon our own guests here, our host rather, co-host will be having their own personalized promo codes as well for all our viewers to take advantage of. So now it's time for you, our viewers, to join us in the conversation below. Tell us your thoughts on our discussion so far. Does Cole Palmer stand the chance to win? What is the season looking like? How is it going to end? Tottenham and Manchester City, can there be any upsets? And also take note of the expert insights that the Duchess of Sports shared on the MPFL and the betting trends so far this season. It's been an enjoyable week so far. It's been an enjoyable time in front of you, our viewers, and it's also going to be enjoyable when we come back next time. It's been a blast for myself, the Duchess of Sports, and Cerebrone here in the studio. Until we come your way next time on the Betting Expert Nigeria podcast, stay tuned and gamble responsibly. Peace.
Arsenal will not win the league.
Arsenal win the Premier League.
City will score lots of
Arsenal
goals.
win the Premier League.